Hey friends, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Humankind came out this past week, and there are a ton of mechanics and things to learn about the game. One of the biggest parts is knowing what each culture brings to the table and which one suits your playstyle. In today's video, I'm going to analyze all of the very first cultures you'll get to pick in the ancient era. Let's get started. As a side note, before we start talking about each culture's bonuses, buildings, and units, we should look at what are called emblematic buildings. These are era-specific buildings that you can only build typically once per city, and once you evolve into another culture, you'll lose the ability to make more of that specific emblematic building. So sometimes you may want to delay switching cultures until it is built in all your cities. We'll start off with what I consider aggressive cultures, which includes the Assyrians, Hittites, and Mycenaeans. The Assyrians are an expansionist culture. Picking them will give you Raid Masters, which is a legacy trait that'll last the entire game. It gives both increased land movement speed for your units and stronger ransacking strength, meaning it should be faster and take less turns to complete. This synergizes with their emblematic unit that generates more money from sacking enemy outposts, and the expansionist affinity bonus allows you to always trespass without causing a war. Their emblematic building is a building that is like the garrison but trades stability for a +2 influence instead. The Hittites is a militaristic culture whose legacy trait, Lust for War, gives a +1 combat strength for every unit for the rest of the game. The militaristic culture provides a +30 to war support, essentially making it easier to declare war against your enemies. The emblematic building replaces and is an upgrade to the outpost. What is special about it is that it can be used as a spawn point for neighboring cities and is fortified, meaning enemy units can't just walk in and destroy it with a ransack action. The emblematic unit is mounted and expensive, requiring both 1 horse and 1 copper strategic resource. It has an ability to make enemies not move the next turn, preventing escape, and also reduce their combat strength, which synergizes with their legacy trait of already being slightly stronger than their opponents. The Mycenaeans are another militaristic culture. Their legacy trait bonus reduces the cost of making units by 20%, and they get bonus experience when being built, meaning they'll become veterans quicker, increasing their combat strength. Their emblematic building is a garrison, but it must follow the adjacency rules of a district. It provides additional district fortifications, stability, and provides extra combat strength if in or adjacent to it. The emblematic unit has no strategic resource cost and does extra damage in the first round. So as a quick recap for these aggressive cultures, the Assyrians are built to move quickly and ransack their enemies, while the Hittites have slightly stronger units and more secure outposts. The Mycenaeans will be able to build and become veterans quicker. Now on to the 2 cultures that focuses on money production, the Nubians and the Phoenicians. The Nubians are a merchant culture whose legacy trait gives a +5 money on luxury and strategic resource deposits, which usually means big money right from the beginning of the game. Their emblematic building provides +3 money per adjacent maker's quarter, and their special archer unit are stronger than the normal archers, requires no strategic resources, and doesn't need clear line of sight to shoot. The Phoenicians are also a merchant culture. Their legacy trait provides +2 money per trader. Their emblematic building replaces the harbor and provides money adjacency bonuses based off the water rather than market districts. +2 money per adjacent coastal water or lake. The emblematic unit is a naval unit with no strategic resource cost, is slightly stronger, and is able to move over deep water and take damage, versus the normal unit, which will be destroyed after spending more than 1 turn in it. So as a recap, the Nubians will give money through resources and making industry districts around their emblematic building, while the Phoenicians are more of a water-centric culture. Before we proceed, if you're enjoying this content so far, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Although there are two aesthete cultures, the Olmecs and the Zhou, they provide different bonuses. The Olmecs legacy trait gives +1 influence per territory. Their emblematic building gives +1 influence for each adjacent farmer's quarter. Their emblematic ranged unit are stronger in forests and require no strategic resources, but still need clear line of sight to shoot. The Zhou legacy trait gives +2 stability on districts, basically reducing the district cost from 10 to 8. Their emblematic building adds stability and provides +5 science per adjacent mountain. Their emblematic unit is expensive, requiring 2 strategic resources, but is mounted and does more damage when stability is high. So as a recap for the Olmecs and the Zhou, the Olmecs focuses on owning many territories and being able to feed their population, while the Zhou will be able to have large, stable cities and produce more science. Finally, the 3 remaining cultures, the Babylonians, Egyptians, and Harappans, all focus in unique areas of the game. The Babylonians are a scientist culture whose legacy trait gives +2 science per research technology, meaning more and more science as time goes on. Their emblematic building gives +3 science for each adjacent farmer's quarter and makes researchers provide +1 food and +1 research for the city. The emblematic anti-cavalry unit is much stronger than the standard counterpart and gains additional combat strength if in a friendly district. So Babylonians are defensive scientists that'll be able to feed their researchers. The Egyptians are the sole builder culture in the ancient era. Their legacy trait provides +1 industry on industry producing tiles and a 10% cheaper cost to building industry districts. Their emblematic building gives a +3 bonus for each adjacent maker's quarter to it, and their emblematic unit is significantly stronger than other ranged units, but is twice as expensive and requires the horse strategic resource. So the Egyptians are all about being able to have high industry and produce buildings, infrastructure, and units much quicker than other cultures. The last culture in the ancient era are the Harappans, which are an agrarian culture. Their legacy trait provides +1 food on food-producing tiles and a +1 food on river tiles. Their emblematic building makes food and +3 bonus to food for adjacent farmers' quarters. Finally, their emblematic unit is slightly stronger than the basic scouts, but have +1 movement, have no strategic resource cost, and ignores the movement costs of forests, making them ideal scouts for the beginning of the game. In a nutshell, the Harappan culture in Humankind are all about growing food and scouting the map. So those are all the ancient era cultures in Humankind. Let me know in the comments below which are your favorite ancient era cultures. Check out the rest of my channel for other videos on Humankind, video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.